Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Hope you're doing well. You know, as I do, that we are in the midst of a major transition in our economy. The AI boom that has taken the world by storm has sent the valuations of tech companies like Nvidia soaring sky high. But there's an angle to this artificial intelligence revolution that is being ignored: the huge demand that AI will place on the power grid. To give you an example, a recent study published in the journal Joule found that the 1.5 million AI server units that Nvidia plans to ship by 2027, when running at full capacity, will consume at least 85 terawatt hours of electricity annually. Now, that's just Nvidia's AI servers alone, and that is more power than many small countries use in an entire year. Data from the IEA forecasts significant increases in data center electricity consumption by 2026. This could exceed 1,000 terawatt hours in just 2 short years. That's roughly equivalent to the present total power consumption of Japan. This increase will be both in absolute terms and as a share of total grid power demand. And research from Goldman Sachs suggests that this trend will continue well into the future. So how will this surging demand be met? Well, that is where the metals come in. With big tech and governments around the world aiming for carbon neutrality, additional petroleum, gas, and coal capacity is not in the cards. The International Energy Agency projects that low-emission sources, nuclear, solar, wind, and hydro, will fill the gap. So much so that the percentage of the world's power from these sources is forecast to increase from 39% to almost half. Solar will certainly contribute to this new energy generation, with installations of new solar capacity rising rapidly around the world. But there are bottlenecks with solar that we are going to hit very soon. For example, the amount of silver that solar capacity requires. The Silver Institute reports that silver consumed by photovoltaic manufacturing is up nearly 400% over the past decade, a significant contributor to the annual silver deficits that markets have experienced for years. But with the pace of solar expansion, this could soon lead to a critical shortage of silver. A recent study conducted by the University of New South Wales determined that maintaining business as usual with a dominance of P-type technology could require over 20% of the current annual silver supply by 2027, and a cumulative 450 to 520 kilotons of silver until 2050. That's approximately 85 to 98% of current global silver reserves. And the best part is, there are newer, higher efficiency panels that require even more silver than the P-type panels that have dominated the industry for years. And the researchers go on to note that a rapid transition to higher efficiency heterojunction cell technologies in their present silver-intensive forms could increase and accelerate silver demand. So 98% of global silver reserves consumed by solar by 2050, that's the best case scenario according to that research. Now, all of this is great if you hold physical silver, but it's bad news if you are counting on solar to make up the majority of our future energy needs. Wind power has similar bottlenecks, relying on scarce materials and requiring vast amounts of land, not to mention the need for large battery storage capacity with intermittent power generation tech like solar and wind. Hydropower is great, but the requisite landforms simply aren't available everywhere. So what's the alternative? Well, for reliable, low-emission power generation, nuclear is the obvious choice. The UK, France, China, Poland, and India are among the nations planning significant roles for nuclear power in their future energy infrastructures. India recently announced plans to triple its nuclear capacity by the year 2032. The US is investing in advanced reactor designs, and China has 22 new reactors under construction, more than any other nation. All of this new nuclear capacity means big demand for another metal, uranium. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, 60,000 tons of uranium are required annually to fuel the world's 410 operating nuclear power reactors. But with countries increasingly expected to turn to nuclear power to address climate change, they forecast that demand could be as high as 100,000 tons of uranium per year by 2040. That would require nearly doubling uranium production from current levels. Not only is global demand for uranium on the rise, but the domestic supply picture in the US isn't looking pretty. Just last month, President Biden signed the Prohibiting Russian Uranium Imports Act, which bans the import of Russian uranium and aims to revive domestic nuclear fuel production by unlocking $2.72 billion appropriated by Congress to expand domestic uranium enrichment and conversion capacity. Now, the US produces very little uranium of its own, but luckily we can import and enrich plenty of raw uranium from our neighbors to the north. And if you are looking for a way to get exposure to uranium from a geopolitically safe jurisdiction and to benefit from the rising demand, then you'll want to check out today's video sponsor, Atha Energy, OTC ticker SASKF. And this one is really a very unique business. Atha Energy is positioned to capitalize on rising demand for uranium like no other company. Let's delve right into some of the factors that set Atha Energy apart. First of all, they have the largest land package of anyone in the Athabasca Basin region of northern Saskatchewan. This is the world's best known and leading source of high-grade uranium that currently provides around 20% of the world's uranium supply. And Atha Energy, again, they have the largest land package there. In addition to that, they have a big cash position, bigger than all other small cap uranium companies by a significant margin. And that cash, well, they'll be using that to finance the largest ever uranium exploration program in the Athabasca Basin. This is both what sets Atha Energy apart and also what makes them a prime target for acquisition by one of the bigger producers. The big uranium companies, they don't really explore for new deposits. They count on smaller exploration companies like Atha for that. And when discoveries are made, they buy up these smaller companies, which typically works out pretty well for the shareholders. So Atha Energy, with their large cash position, are ready to go out and find that uranium in the world's best jurisdiction. And even if not acquired by a large entity in the uranium space, they have the potential to become a large producer themselves. In addition to that, they also control the largest land package in the Thelon Basin, located near Nunavut, Canada. This is a region that has been dubbed the new Athabasca Basin due to its significant potential for uranium discoveries. So Atha Energy is positioned for exploration and discoveries well into the future. Atha is led by a world-class management team. You can see here that they have a track record with many of the world's leading mining and uranium companies. And not only that, to give you an idea of just how involved the management is in this project, the reason Atha has this huge 4.8 million acre land package is because the co-founders spent nearly a decade hiking the basin and staking it themselves. The CEO, Troy Beaujolais, previously worked for the world's largest uranium producer, Cameco. In his role as chief geologist, he made a name for himself with multiple large uranium discoveries, and now he's in the perfect position to repeat this track record with Atha. For example, the Angalac project is a high-grade uranium deposit that was drilled by a previous owner in 2011, 2012, and 2013, with each round of drilling significantly expanding the discoveries. However, the Fukushima disaster triggered a uranium bear market that forced the previous owners to simply stop exploration. This allowed Atha Energy to scoop up land at a bargain, and now that uranium is once again on the rise and exploration is set to resume, the CEO with experience making major discoveries for the world's largest uranium miner is ready to go to work. Take a look at this. This is a chart of the Lassonde curve, which tracks the life cycle of mineral discoveries. You'll notice that the majority of the value added occurs in the discovery phase, and that is exactly where Atha is about to embark, as it deploys its large cash trove to initiate a major exploration program. To give you some numbers, Atha Energy plans to spend 12 million Canadian dollars on the Angalac project, 9 million Canadian dollars on the Gemini project in the Athabasca Basin, and 9 million Canadian dollars on grassroots exploration in the Athabasca and Thelon basins. This type of exploration budget truly puts Atha Energy into a league of its own. There are bigger uranium companies, there are smaller junior uranium explorers, but none of the competition checks all the boxes the way ATHA Energy does, as you can see from this table that compares ATHA Energy to its competitors. Analysts at 8 Capital have given a $3 Canadian price target for ATHA Energy. Combine this with the fact that a recent round of financing raised 60 million Canadian dollars at $1 Canadian per share, while the current share price is trading around 67 cents Canadian, and you can see that ATHA is on sale right now. And I don't know about you, but I like to buy assets when they are cheap, before they appreciate. But don't go out and buy this stock just because you heard about it here. As always, this isn't financial advice. You need to make sure you do your own due diligence. And a great place to start is by visiting athaenergy.com. How do you plan to play the coming commodity bull market? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe and happy stacking. I'll catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker, out.